Welcome to the Personal Development Mastery Podcast. Stand out, don't fit in. Today I'm delighted to speak with an outstanding and inspiring person, Dr. Harry Singh. Harry, you are a dentist who has been carrying out facial aesthetics since 2002, and you have treated over 5,000 cases. You are a leading light in the UK facial aesthetics profession and a key opinion leader for a number of companies. You were awarded the fellowship of the International Academy for Dental Facial Aesthetics, and you ran numerous clinical and non-clinical workshops for your training company, which has won many awards in the UK, including the winner of the Most Outstanding Business of the Year in 2018. You have also been investing in property since 2002, and you run the Dental Property Club, where you teach professionals to become financially free or give them the opportunity to joint venture in your property projects. Harry Singh, I'm delighted to be speaking with you today. Welcome to the Personal Development Mastery Podcast.
Thank you, Aggie, for that. And were you speaking to my mum? It looks like my mum wrote that introduction and passed it over to you there. But no, thank you, and really appreciate the invitation for this podcast. Really looking forward to having a chat, conversation, sharing any pearls of wisdom I may have with your audience.
It is my pleasure, and I will share with the people who are listening that you were one of the first, my first influences in personal development back in 2016, about 4 years ago, when I started my journey of self-transformation. So I learned many things from you at that time. And then after a few months, I went to Tony Robbins, and then everything accelerated. So I always remember that. And I wanted to speak with you for the podcast for a while.
Harry, you tell that to my wife that you learned some stuff from me. She never believes me.
Maybe direct her to listen to the podcast. I wanted to start with a little bit of your background. Basically, what I wanted to ask you is if you can give us a key defining moment in your journey of personal development.
Yeah, I would say probably a couple of things when I was in my teenage years. One was, I remember my parents were immigrants that came from India, and they had 2 jobs, working in a normal factory 9 to 5 and in a warehouse 6 to 10 p.m. So even though we missed out a lot on the growing opportunities, but that instilled in me the work ethic. So it doesn't matter what background you come in, whether you've got a rich, successful family behind you, you're better looking than me, you're better personality, no one can outwork you. So that's always been one of my defining moments, outwork the competition, because that is in your control. Also, because of that work ethic, where all my friends were going on summer holidays, relaxing, I was having warehouse jobs as well in John Lewis Dixon's and a newspaper round every morning. And it was one of those newspaper rounds where I was on a Sunday and I was doing the Sunday newspapers. As you know, most Sunday newspapers they're quite bulky, and I used to hate the Sunday mornings because it's magazines, supplements, etc. And one of the guys that was delivering newspapers, because I was always come early when you expected. So he always appreciated me, and he left a note saying, "Oh, keep the newspaper, I'm on holiday." And it was the Sunday Times. So went back home, read the newspaper, and I looked at, and it just happened to be by fate, the Sunday Times Rich List, which comes out once a year. Mm-hmm. And I was reading that, and what struck me, 2 things. One, they're all self-made in terms of business. So I knew I didn't want to be working for anyone else. You need to create your own destiny, your own financial success. And 2, 50% of people that were on the list had made their money via property. So either they had successful businesses and were reinvesting the profits in property, or they were property developers or property investors. So I knew from an early age, work hard, be your own boss, and get into property somehow.
Mm-hmm. What made you become a dentist? Because that doesn't sound
Yeah, there's
very much relevant to what you just said now.
Yeah, two things. One was being from typical Indian parents. They said either become a doctor or a dentist. And so I went to the library, got a careers book. Remember those days when we had libraries and no internet? And I looked, okay, who earns more money, a dentist or a doctor? And it said dentist. Went to my local dentist and said, oh, can I have a couple of days work experience just to see what it's like? I saw his car, I saw his watch, I saw his dental nurse. I go, okay, I'm having some of that. So that became a dentist. I did obviously want to do stuff like acting and that kind of stuff. And also parents look out for you because obviously in our culture, everything is planned towards getting married to obviously find a suitable partner. Mm-hmm. And so obviously parents will act in your best interest. Okay, how can my son get the best partner? He needs to have a good degree, good job. So obviously that's where they came from, that background, become a doctor, become a dentist. Mm-hmm. And it's quite funny because I say the opposite to my kids, don't ever become a dentist. So that was it. It's either doctor or dentist. And dentistry, I knew I could own a practice or practices. So there was some business element to that. So dentistry was, and I was actually good at sciences, so biology, chemistry, etc. So I knew that would fit in. So it was 99% was parents' direction, and 1% was I did have an interest in business sciences, so I thought that would be a good fit for myself. Also, I want to make myself stand out, so I never want to do what the crowd did. So I looked in my family, and no one was a dentist. There were a couple of doctors, but no one was a dentist. I go, okay, I want to be the first dentist in our family. So that was the reason I became. But I knew even within 2 weeks of dental school, most other people really passionate, interested, excited about dentistry. I wasn't one of those people. So I knew that I was going to not do dentistry for 20, 30, 40 years, unlike my peers.
Mm-hmm. And so now it's been many years since you practiced clinical dentistry. Any milestone moments in your change growing out of that?
Yeah, I say because obviously I've got the dental property coming. I get a lot of dentists, especially this period of time with the coronavirus, COVID-19, the lockdown. They say we want to give up dentistry. We're going to hand our notice in next week. I also would never recommend that because you need to transition it. Because with property, you don't know if you're going to like it. Because the first deal is to get over your fear. Mm-hmm. Second deal is to build some experience. And the third deal is to find out if you actually like it, if you've got a passion for it. So I would say I was obviously doing dentistry full time, Monday to Saturday, but in the evenings, going to property networking events, educating myself, looking at property deals. And then I built up my property portfolio in the background while I was still a full-time dentist.
Okay.
And then that would give me the flexibility, the choice. Okay, do I cut down dentistry? Do I give it? So I cut down my dentistry to 4 days, 3 days, 2 days. Eventually, the property portfolio overtook my income from dentistry. I go, okay, I don't need to do dentistry. I don't enjoy it. I'm going to stop. So it doesn't mean people have to go. Obviously, it's hard to become a dentist, and there's a lot of sunken time and costs. I'm not saying you have to give up dentistry, but you've got a better pension pot or alternative source of income. And what I did find when I had my property income, I actually started enjoying dentistry because I wasn't reliant on the dental income. I knew I didn't have to work. When you have to do something, you don't enjoy it as much. Because I wasn't relying on the dental income, I could choose the cases, choose the patients, choose the hours I wanted to work, and I actually enjoyed it. And then, because I reached financial freedom back in 2007, and I could have given up dentistry, but I continued for another 5 years because I was enjoying what I was actually doing, maybe only 1 or 2 days a week. And I find that with a lot of dentists that are stuck in the NHS because they're forced to do it. And when they go private, they start enjoying it because they can spend more time with the patients, do more quality work. Mm-hmm. So, I wouldn't recommend anyone to obviously stop their income source, transition, build up their network, their education, their experience, and then have that flexibility of choosing what they want to do.
Sure, that's great. And Now you have been doing facial aesthetics instead of dentistry, and you're obviously very passionate about
Yeah.
that. I wanted to ask, what is it that you're passionate about facial aesthetics?
Yeah, so facial aesthetics happened back in 2007 when I was just doing dentistry, and it's actually repeating the cycle history right now. We had the recession, and my dentistry went down by about 100%, and my facial aesthetics went up by 200%. Because people pay for what they want. So people appreciate the patients, my facial aesthetic patients appreciate what I do. It's a wants business compared to a needs business. So people look forward to it. People will pay for what they want, not what they need. So it's actually not really, I'm not actually selling anything. You don't have to convince the patient to go for your treatment because they want that particular service. Mm-hmm. And I was never into hard, pushy sales when you know it's in the best interest of your dental patient, but they can't afford it. So you feel like a pushy salesperson. So with facial aesthetics, they want it, they're willing to pay for it, and they appreciate what you do. Also, it's repeat business. So, especially with, say, botulinum toxin, only lasts 3 to 4 months. They have to come back every 3 to 4 months. So, unless you're a really bad dentist, you're not going to be redoing that crown every 3 to 4 months there. And you get paid for it when they keep on coming back. So, yeah, and you can chat to the patient, but you haven't got anything stuck in their mouth like dental mirrors, probes. You can have a conversation, and you can have a joke and a laugh with them. So it does not feel like work. So that's why I enjoy it, still do it, and love it.
Awesome. Shall we talk about personal development? And I wanted your point of view or some elements of your journey in personal development. So when did you start, and maybe who were your big influences that changed you as a person?
Yeah, and I followed a journey where I think a lot of people did. I didn't know that personal development was an interest in personal development. So I would go to all these dental courses, business courses, and I was learning about the strategies. And sometimes I would implement and sometimes I wouldn't. And then, I mean, this was back in 99, 2000. And then some of the business courses I went to were talking a little bit about personal development mindset, but they would add it on like 10, 15 minutes at the end of the workshop. And I would turn off and I would either leave because I go, I'm not interested in that. It's not going to make any difference. Really? Then, obviously, I was a big believer in reflection. So I was I always have a diary, what worked that year, what didn't work. And it was a scary thought that only 20% of the courses I went to, I was implementing, 80% I wasn't. So I was going, okay, what can I do about this? And I was just Googling business courses, and I came across Tony Robbins, and he was doing a business course. So I listened to that, but his actual program, and you mentioned it, that you went to as well, Unleash the Power Within, in terms of his 4-day course, which he was holding at Excel. So that was my first personal development course I went to, and that was in 2002. And I went in there and I go, oh my God, it's like a pop concert. There must have been like 80,000 people there. And I obviously I've just been used to normal workshops, business, boring courses. You just sit down, and then he comes in. His voice, his personality was just amazing. Like, oh my God, I'm glued to it. And then typical course of guy is 1 o'clock, where's the lunch? And he's just going on. There's no lunch break, and people are eating their food. I go, okay, and obviously I love my food, but he was so inspiring. There's 9 o'clock at night. I go, when's the break? And there was a break, and I was going, this guy is just going on and on. I go, okay, this guy, and obviously he was a lot older than me at that stage. I go, okay, where's he getting his energy from, his drive, his passion? And then obviously on the 4th day, he talks about nutrition. Obviously during the day, he talks about mindset. And I would say that was my first journey into personal development, 2002. And he mentioned his guru, his mentor, is it Jim Collins?
Jim Rohn.
Jim Rohn. Talked about him. And so I got into his books, his personal development. And in those days, it was cassettes. Do you remember those cassettes?
Yes, I'm old enough to remember the cassette tapes. Yeah.
And I just loved it. And I could see a combination of personal development, also my health and mindset, my business skyrocketed. And where I earned the most money, were most successful, was when I was looking at my mindset, my personal development, and also my health and my fitness levels. So it all went into it. And Jim Rohn goes, the bigger the why, the easier the how. So he said 80% of your success is why, 20% is how, the dynamics, the strategies. And I was like everyone else, just concentrating on the strategies, dynamics, how to do it. But as I said, because when I do teaching like yourself, and I give the same course material to all the delegates, the same teaching, the same experience, half of them will make it work, half of them won't. And as you said, it's trying to find why don't they make it work. And it's because it's their why, their personal development, their mindset, what's the reason they're doing it. And even from now on, so I got into personal development in 2002, even now I'm spending, I'll say at least 10 grand a year, at least a week a year on personal development resources, whether it's courses, books, training, mentoring, coaches, etc. That is my priority every year. I'm always building on that foundation.
Is there any other course or program, anything that stands out and that you would say that it made a big impact on your growth?
In terms of personal development, I'll say, yeah, Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, my memory's going black now. Who's T.R. Becker? He was good. Yeah, he was good in terms of money mindset, which I would definitely recommend. Went on to his 3-day live experience, because obviously your money beliefs will affect how much money you're going to be earning. Zig Ziglar, he was another one that was good. So it's all these guys, and what you find when the newer guys come on the market, they're just repurposing, recycling the original material. So why not learn from the original sources? So yeah, Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar, T.R. Becker, all main. Obviously, I've got financial guys like Robert Kiyosaki, Keith Cunningham, which is to do with finances and property, etc. But in terms of personal development, it'll be those 4 guys. And I'm always a strong believer. If you can see them, obviously a couple of them have unfortunately passed away, but if you can see these people live, I'm all into books. I read 1 hour every day, but I would say live events, you're going to get that experience, that environment, and you're going to take a lot, much more in. So I know obviously Tony Robbins still does the 4 days. Obviously he doesn't do the 4 days himself, all of it, but definitely get onto his program if you can.
Yeah, that for me was a big change in my.
I lost about 4 stones in that 4 days because everyone's dancing, jumping around.
Yeah, what you said about the energy, it was incredible, and that energy would rub off from the stage to the participants. I remember the 3rd day we started at 8 o'clock in the morning or something. At some point it was 1 a.m. after midnight, and we were all still jumping up and down, and it was incredible.
It's amazing. From the outside, it looks like a cult and stuff, but obviously it's not. But yeah, the energy and what you can do with the fire walk and stuff. And I've been on it twice. I went 2002 and then 2007 again. I took a couple of my colleagues as well.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I've been twice as well. The second time I was a crew member, so it's something that I enjoy giving back to the community. Harry, let's talk about something that you have developed or you teach yourself in regards to personal and professional development. So it is those 4 pillars that you mentioned, the acronym WARS. So do you want to guide us through that and what it is and its importance?
Yeah, thank you, Aggie. So I'll use the acronym WARS because it's an internal battle that you're fighting every day, because you see these people, and I call it the Facebook lifestyle, which is actually probably the Facebook lifestyle. Everyone's motivated, everyone's doing really well, everyone's doing 20 implants in the morning, 200 press-ups, getting to their Ferrari, the kids have made them a aloe vera juice, etc. So everyone puts their best parts on there. So it is a battle because obviously people do get influenced and they think their life is not as good, etc. So I use the acronym WARS, W-A-R-S. So W stands for watch and observe successful people. So studies have shown that your network net worth, and income is within 10% of the 5 to 6 people you hang around the most. So when I was investing in property, I had 0 properties, I would be speaking to people that had 2, 3 properties. Once I had 5 properties, I'll be speaking to people that had 10 properties. Once I had 10, I'd be speaking to someone that had 20. But they're doing something different to what I'm doing. And I talk about mastermind and mentoring in Napoleon Hill books, Think and Grow Rich. He talks about the power of the mastermind. So who are you hanging around with? Who are your friends? So when I was on my healthy fitness regime, I decided not to socialize with all my drinking friends, because obviously if I go out with them, they're going to say, let's go to the pub, let's have a doner kebab. And that was not in sync with what I was trying to achieve. So you've got to look at who the 5 to 6 people you're hanging around with. And I use this example. So I'm very competitive at sports. So me and my family, my wife and my kids were at Centre Parks. We were having a game of pool, played against the kids first, wanted to beat them, but if I missed a few shots, I got a bit upset, but not too angry. Then I played against my wife. I wanted to 8-ball her, make her cry, make her scream. I upped my game to a different level. So are you playing with kids or are you playing with adults? Because if you are the least successful, the poorest in your group, you'll up your game to get to the same level. So it's important who you're hanging around with. So that's the first one. W, watch and observe successful people. Then A stands for the opposite. Avoid negative people. So call them BMWs, bitches, moaners, whiners. They always have a problem for every solution. And doing my workshops, what I do, I get people to take their mobile phone out and say, delete one negative person from your contacts, because they would just drain their energy from you. They always say it's not a good idea. I remember when I got from dentistry to property and gave up dentistry, people said it's a waste of time. You're going to regret it. You're going to be back in dentistry within 2 years. Those same people are now phoning me, go, can you help me? I want to get out of dentistry. And sometimes the most negative people are your family. So my parents still tell everyone I'm a dentist. They're too embarrassed to say that I gave up dentistry, etc. So just be wary of certain family members. You'll get this joke, the younger generation that are digital won't. So some people are so negative, when they enter a dark room, they start developing. So avoid negative people. So that's the A. R is be an avid reader. So as I mentioned, I read 1 hour every day from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. And I read for 45 minutes. What was happening, I was reading books and I did that task, but I wasn't really implementing. So I'd read for 45 minutes, and then the last 15 minutes I would implement. Okay, what did I underline? What did I learn from those last 45 minutes? What do I need to take action on? Because people say I want to read 100 books in a year. That's good, but what's the point if you're not going to be taking action? So there's going to be personal development books, business books, mindset, physical health books, etc. And then the last one, S, stands for sloppy success is better than perfect theory. So for the dentist listeners, this is quite hard. Because of the nature of our job, we have to be perfectionists. But that puts you off in life. So no one, let's say you're going to work in the morning, no one sits in their car and says, I'm not leaving my driveway unless all the traffic lights are green. That's never going to happen. You're going to have red traffic lights, diversions, roundabouts. What you are after is progress, not perfection. So, for example, when I set up my dental business, then one of my dental clinics, they said you need a website, you need a brochure. Most people would do it that way. I did the opposite. I need to earn money first. Let's set it up, open it, get patients in, start making money, and then reinvest that money in the website and the brochure. So, W, watch and observe successful people. A, avoid negative people. R, become an avid reader. And S, sloppy success is better than perfect theory.
That's awesome. Thank you for that. And I want to discuss a little bit more the R, the becoming an avid reader. There are two things. The first, I remember something that I heard from you back in 2016. It was the difference between self-development and shelf development. And You mentioned that you read for an hour a day, and the last 15 minutes of the hour you try to see what you can implement out
Yeah,
of that. And I agree that it is very important to actually take the action, because that's what I was doing for a very long time, reading the books,
yeah.
but not doing anything with the
Yeah, I
knowledge.
was the same. I'd read a whole book from page one to the end and then put it on the side and leave it on the shelf and thinking by some kind of magic osmosis, the
Hmm.
knowledge will go in my brain and I'll take action. And then,
Hmm.
yeah, we've all done it.
Yeah. Any books in particular that you read over the last few months that you say that they are exceptional, that you would like to recommend, or that they made a big impact in the way that you do things?
Yeah, there's a couple of books. One is called Deep Work
Hmm.
by Cal Newport. That's a really book in terms of how to get focused work, avoiding distractions, avoiding going on social media, YouTube, all that kind of stuff. So that's really, really good practical examples. And it's quite funny because one of the examples he gives is when, what's her name? Who's the author of Harry Potter?
Now my mind
J.K.
is
Rowling.
stuck.
J.K. Rowling.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So when she was struggling with one of the books, she booked a hotel in central London for
Uh-huh.
£300 for the day and just spent 8 hours in the hotel room because he had a nice surrounding, nice environment, and she got the book completed. I actually used to do that because there's a Premier Inn near my house, and if I was struggling, I would just, and I know the porter, pay £40, book the room for the day. Obviously, I'll get some funny looks for booking the room in the daytime, and then just stay in that room and get a lot of work because there's no phone there, no computer, and get my work done for that 8 hours. And he talks about a disconnect day, which I've been doing for a while, one day a month, go to a spa, book a couple of treatments, have no phone, no one can contact me. And you get some really great ideas with you've got some free thinking, some white space. And some of my best ideas have come on those days. My wife thinks it's just an excuse to have a massage for the day. So that's one of the books I've just been reading last week. So Deep Work by Cal Newport, Cal Cal Newport. And the other one is Free to Focus by Michael Hyatt,
Okay.
Hyat, I think it is.
Hmm.
Free to Focus and talking about arranging your schedule, your timetable, your daily routines. And one of the things I've picked from his is about the delegation, and he has different levels of delegation because where people go wrong, they delegate, but they don't give clear instructions. And so the lowest level of delegation would be, okay, this is what I want you exactly to do, and no deviation from that. Come back in 2 days' time with this. Then the other extreme is, okay, I want to write a blog on how sun can damage your skin. You do what you want, research it, write it, post it. So there's different extremes. And then in the middle, there would be, I want you to write this blog, and these are the bullet points I want you to cover, etc. And the lowest extreme is, this is a blog, I want you to post it. So people don't know there's different levels of delegation. So I thought that was quite a good insight for me. But yeah, Free to Focus, he has a planner diary that you can buy in addition to it in terms of what's the main projects you want to do. And also, yeah, how to manage your day because there's a lot of admin distractions that we get. And he talks about having 3 emails. One's your personal email, one's your business email,
Hmm.
one's a private business email that no one knows apart from 2 people, maybe your PA and someone that's high up in your business. And
Hmm.
only so that your personal email is obviously for your personal use. Your business email is answered by your PA. But it looks like it's been answered from you. Obviously, you have to train them, give them scripts, and then the only things that they cannot answer, they forward onto your private business email that no one knows.
Hmm.
Then you reply on that behalf, and then they respond to the person. Because what was happening, I was say going out for a day, coming back, having 50 emails to answer. Now I'm getting only 2 to 3 because
Hmm.
no, you don't get any spam in that private one because it's not advertised anywhere. And then your PA admin person can only send you stuff that they can't answer, and that will save you a lot of time.
Oh yeah, I can only imagine. It's a brilliant structuring of the
Yeah,
emails, because it's a plague dealing with emails. It's very easy to get overwhelmed and have hundreds of emails if you don't
have it.
strategize
Yeah,
in a way.
definitely.
Harry, let's talk about something else which it's in your area of expertise, and that's money, the psychology of money. And I wanted your thoughts. I remember some things that I heard from you or read it in your book, that you there were two things actually. One was that your net worth can never exceed your self worth,
Yeah,
and the other was that your income zone can never exceed your comfort zone.
yeah.
So, talk to me about the psychology of money, the mindset of money. How can someone turn it around if they're struggling with that?
Yeah, and where people go wrong, they look at the strategy. So they'll go online or go on a course to say, okay, I need to spend this, do this, etc. But it's all to do with your money beliefs, which you touched on.
Mhm.
As I said, your income can only grow to the extent that you can grow. So that's why I'm still doing personal development, going on personal development courses, business courses, always learning. And your net worth is your network. So in terms of who you're hanging around with. So it's a bit like T. R. Becker really explains, it's like a money thermostat. There will be a level that you set your money point at. So it's like a thermostat in your room. So you set your thermostat at a particular temperature. If you open the window, it's going to get colder, your thermostat's going to increase. If you put heating on that room, your thermostat's going to decrease. But eventually, it's going to go to your money thermostat. So everyone has a money thermostat internally. And this comes from your money beliefs, your education, what you were taught by your parents or what you saw your parents did. That would be your money thermostat. So for some people, their money thermostat could be, my maximum income I'm going to earn is £5,000 a month. And when they earn more than that, they will find ways of spending that extra money. So it brings it down to £5,000 a month. If their income goes down to £2,000, they're going to be innovative, add value to make their income go back to their £5,000, because that's what their baseline is. And one of the things, obviously, my parents, because they had two jobs, not much money, they saved everything. And that was one of my mistakes. I was a hoarder. I would never spend any money. So I would have the money, but quite a miserable lifestyle because I wasn't spending the money. Other people could have had parents that were living beyond their means, overspending holidays, 2 holidays a year, the latest fashion, etc., branded goods. And the kids have got onto that. And because their income doesn't support that, they're always going to be in debt. So you need to find out what your money thermostat is. Where do your money beliefs come from? So that would be the first step. Then the second one is obviously the strategies, which is only 20%. And I divide it into two parts. One, making money, which is going to be passive income, investment income. So income derived not from your own efforts. So that's like property, shares, forex, etc. But the most important part is not actually keeping the money, making the money, is how much money you keep. So we talk about savings and simplify. So quickly brief savings. So what I would do every month before I've spent a single penny, I'll divide it into different jars. There used to be 6 jars, but that was before the lockdown, coronavirus. I've changed that now because there's going to be a few financial issues coming post-lockdown. So what I do now is my monthly income comes in, 50% of that I put away for tax, because our taxes are going to go up. There's no way about it, because obviously government are getting all this money, grants, loans. They're going to have to get that money somehow. And you can see the changes already. For example, the contestant charge in London, they've increased it and made it 7 days a week. So that's the signs that our tax is going to go up. So 50% of my money is taken into, let's put that aside for my tax elements. Then I've got 50% left. A third of that I'm going to do on my living expenses. So 33%, so a third of the 50% goes on my living expenses. That's your mortgage, rent, utility bills, food, accommodation. Then a third of that I'm going to be investing. So that's going to be investing in my education, but investing in property as well.
Mm-hmm.
And the remaining third, I'm going to have as a cash buffer. I'm going to leave it as cash because we don't know if there's going to be a second, third wave, what's going to happen. So I want some cash buffer. So I've got 100% of my income coming in, 50% will go for tax. The remaining 50% are divided into three ways. One, a third for living expenses, third for personal development investment and property investment, and then a third as a cash. So that is, your money beliefs, and then obviously how much money you keep.
Awesome. In terms of the money thermostat that you mentioned and the money beliefs, how would you advise someone to change the thermostat if they realize that, yes, I indeed have a thermostat and it's set there and I would like to have more?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, one of my mentors, he always said to me, and you might be TR Becker, he said, okay, let's say you want to earn 100,000 in the year, add an extra zero to it. So anything you have a goal for, just add an extra zero. So instead of 100,000, I'm going to be aiming for 1 million. You'll have a completely different mindset, different activities, different goals to aim for that £1 million. You may hit it, which is wonderful. If you don't hit it, I guarantee you're going to be hitting more than 100,000 in your original plan. So whatever your goal is, just add an extra zero to it, and then you'll have a different mindset. You'll become a different person to aim for that goal. Also, there'll be less competition in that arena because everyone aims for the mediocre, normal, play it safe. Aim for the extraordinary. Add an extra zero. That is probably the simplest way to change your money belief.
Amazing. That's a fantastic concept.
I didn't tell that to my wife because he'll spend an extra zero.
I suppose there is a spending thermostat as well as the making thermostat. There is one other thing I wanted to ask you about money beliefs and money mindset. And that is let's say the differentiation or the conflict between time and money. So rich people spend money to save time, poor people spend time to save money. So what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, very good question, Aggie. So there's time versus money. One of those resources is limited, the other resource is unlimited. So time is limited. And I use the examples. Let's say you're walking along the beach and you see a lamp. You rub the lamp and the genie pops up. And the genie says to you, I'm not going to give you 3 wishes. I'm going to give you 1 wish, which is I'm going to give you £86,400. Every day, I'm going to give you £86,400. But one day, I'm going to stop giving you that money. But I'm not going to tell you when. Anything you got left over from day one, from the £86,400, you cannot carry it forwards to the next day. So most people say, okay, we don't want to waste that money. We're going to make the most of that money, invest it, not waste it. But substitute £86,400 with seconds. Every day you are given 86,400 seconds. Next day you're given 86,400 seconds. One day, unfortunately, it's going to pass away, not to sound too morbid. But also anything you've wasted on day one or not used up, you cannot carry it forward. So that's the importance of time. And T.R. Becker said, same again, rich people will spend money to save time. Poor people will spend time to save money. And I fell for this trick. A decade ago now, my wife said to me, okay, we had a baby girl. So she goes, oh, can you make this some cot for her? So I said, okay, it only take me 20 minutes. 2 to 3 hours later, I was still on my back with a broken back, sweating like anything. And half the screws were missing. So I thought, okay, instead of spending money, I thought I'd save time. That 3 hours has gone. I'm never going to get it back. Yeah. You got to work out how much your hourly rate is worth. If my hourly rate is worth £500, I've wasted £1,500. I could have paid someone £100 to fix that cot. A year later, once I learned about that strategy, same day my wife goes to me, can you tidy up the garage? She goes, it will only take you half an hour. I knew it wouldn't take me half an hour. So I paid someone £100, took them 2 hours to find the garage. Those 2 hours, I could find a property deal that would have made me 40 grand. So rich people spend money to save time. Poor people spend time to save money. And I've actually gone to extreme. I really hardly do anything myself. So I delegate all the only thing I actually do is speaking, like with me and you, and at courses and lectures. All the other admin, emails, booking rooms, printing handouts, doing all that other stuff is done by someone else. I just pay PA to do it because my time is precious. And especially dentists, I hate they're not very good at delegating. I've been to loads of dental practices where they're on their hands and knees, changing the printer cartridge or changing a light bulb. Get someone else to do it. Focus on only income generating procedures.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Harry. One other thing I wanted your opinion on is mastermind groups and mentors. How have they, their importance in growth and success?
Yeah, I would say mentoring has been really, and I prefer that style of learning because obviously when you have your normal workshops, the teacher's going to go at the pace of the slowest learner. And what I found, I have been not bigging myself. I've been quite proactive. I always implement. So whatever people say, this is your homework to do, I always implement. And I would always get frustrated in group workshops where you would go at the speed of the slowest person. I go, I've already done this. Why are they covering this? So I do prefer mentoring because then I could go at my pace. I would do the work. Also, it's going to be a higher cost in terms of time and money. And because I've made that commitment, I will follow it through. Because if a mentoring's charging me £3,000 for the day, that's not cheap. I'm going to make sure I work, make use of that mentor, use them, and implement what they've taught me or what they go over. So that is my thinking. And same game mastermind, I run numerous masterminds like yourself. And the power of the group, the environment, the accountability, but you have to be very careful who you choose on your mastermind. So when I do my masterminds with local business people, 80% of the people that want to join, I say no to. What are they going to bring to the table? So as I said, it's with that center part. Are you playing with kids or are you playing with adults? Because when I was part of a couple of masterminds, I would have a couple of people that were just new business owners. And it'd be so frustrating, the questions they would ask, because they've got no idea about business. Obviously, everyone's got to learn. So I said, okay, you're better doing this course or that workshop, etc. So you want to have in your mastermind people that are doing stuff that you want to do or where you want to be. And then you will grow. But obviously, you need to make sure you can bring something to the table. Doesn't mean, obviously, you may not have the experience as them, but you could bring something else. You may be a website designer. You may be internet marketing expert, etc. You may, if it's property, you may be an estate agent with loads of deals that you have access to. So it does not necessarily mean that you've got the skills or expertise, but it could be something else that you bring to the table. So with the mastermind is what other people bring to the table and what can you bring to the table. And I've been doing meeting once a month, have a strict agenda. Everyone's got to follow the agenda in terms of minutes of the meeting. What I prefer with masterminds is like having a hot seat where someone's there, like a mastermind seat, and okay, what's your biggest problem? 10 minutes, everyone shoots the breeze, ideas, then you narrow it down. Because when you have people on different businesses, it doesn't really matter because business is business. You'll learn, go, okay, and I'm very good at picking up ideas from different businesses and making it into my dental and facial aesthetics business when I had the dentistry, because what I find with a lot of dentists, they go to all the same course, learn from the same people. Everyone has the same ideas. But if you're looking outside your industry, you'll pick up a lot of ideas that you can translate to your own business.
I can certainly agree with that. I know what you mean. Thank you very much, Harry. Let me ask you some quick fire questions as well.
Okay.
What does personal development mean to you?
Expanding your mind and not being limited by your beliefs.
Awesome. If you could go back in time and meet your 20-year-old self, what's the one piece of advice you would give him?
Stop drinking and stop going out all the time, and get into personal development mindset as soon as possible. So that's I don't have many regrets, but I don't regret getting into dentistry because I wouldn't have met dentists like yourself and other people. So I didn't start earlier in terms of personal development mindset, because if I had that mindset at the beginning, I could have achieved a lot more. I did the hard way round, did the business strategies first, then looked at the mindset.
Yeah. I think in a way we have to go through those adversities or the journey that we go through in life, because if we had a button and we could just press it and achieve success automatically, it would really not cause us to grow into the person that we grow into.
Sometimes if it becomes too easy for you, then you don't appreciate it. When you have to struggle and work for it, you appreciate it a lot more. Definitely.
Absolutely. Harry, if you had a magic wand and you could wave it and change something in the world as it is today, what would that be?
I would say financial education for all school children. Because we are not taught, because school teaches you to get a job, get educated, get a job. It does not teach you financial intelligence, financial education, financial freedom. So I would say, financial education to be taught at all schools.
Great. Is there any major aha moment you had over the last few years that you wanted to share with us?
I'll say more, when my parents were working hard, speaking to my other things, obviously they missed our childhood, and that was the thing. And the biggest regret they had, obviously they had to do it because we had no money, so they had to work 2 jobs to get the money to support us. So I don't begrudge that, but their biggest regret was they didn't spend time with us, would see us growing up. And when they could see us growing up, we were in our 18, 19, 20s, we had our own life. So the biggest thing I made was to make sure I was financially free before I had kids or when my kids were very young. So while my kids were 1, 2, 3, 4, I spent a lot of time at home. And I was dropping them off at primary school, going to their concerts, activities, sports day. Actually, it's a funny story. It's one of my daughter's sports day. They had a dad's 100 meters race, and I won only because I was the only dad in the race there. So it was like in the middle of the day where everyone else was working. And it was quite funny when I dropped the kids off. I was in my jogging bottoms, baseball caps. Everyone thought I had no job. I was unemployed because no dads were here. So and the kids loved that. Our dad's the only dad dropping us off, and they still talk about it now. Do you remember that race? Do you remember that? And also going on, I know you only asked for one, but also being a role model for my kids. Kids will look at what you do, not what you say. So I can say to them, eat healthy, exercise, but if I'm not doing it, they're not going to listen, not going to do it. When I get into my fitness, I'm exercising twice a day, eating healthy. They want to go on their bike. They want to go jogging, enter half marathons. They want to eat the fruit instead of the crisp and the Mars bar and the chocolate. So it's not, especially for those that have got kids, be a leader, be a role model. They will do what you do, not what you say.
That's great. Is there any big mistake that you've made over the last few years that you would like to share so people can avoid doing the same thing?
Yeah, I made loads of mistakes. More in terms of property, I would say those are more specific in terms of property mistakes, buying overseas, buying new build, keeping everything. And in terms of personal, I would say sacrificing health for wealth. Yeah, so I was busy building up my property because I was working as a dentist, doing the property stuff in the evening. I always had the excuse I never had time to exercise. But the biggest gift you can give your kids is being healthy and staying alive for the longest time possible, because once you're gone, that's going to be a void in their life. So do not sacrifice health for wealth. So I'll say, and luckily I learned before it was too late, and I've got a nice balance in terms of exercising, eating, and building businesses. But yeah, I would say that's the biggest mistake. I was sacrificing money, financial wealth building for my health.
That's great. Thank you. Harry, is there something you have changed your mind about in the last few years?
No, I wouldn't say. People always surprise you.
I was saving it for the.
In terms of, I say, because obviously I run numerous courses and they're not cheap, and I value people's time and the money they spend. And it's scary, I would say, less than 5% take action, implement, and do it, whether it's facial aesthetics and property investing. So what surprises me is they've spent that time, spent that money, 95% have done nothing with it. I'm always surprised with that stat and the reason why. As you said, if you can find out the reason why they don't do it, etc. Because we're looking at thousands of pounds, and some of the courses are 3 days, so that's like 3 days where they could have spent with their family or their hobbies. So if you're sacrificing that much time and money, my mindset is I would make it work, but only 5% of people do it. I'm still surprised 95% don't.
I suppose it has to do something with the inner dialogue or the self-doubt or fears or something that...
there's numerous reasons. Obviously, some people maybe just course junkies and just want to get into a course because it breaks the routine, but then...
Sure, yes. Harry, is there anything you were hoping I would ask you and I completely missed it?
What do I want? What's my next drink at the pub?
When they reopen, you mean?
No, I don't think I'll say, obviously, like a morning routine. I know you're quite keen on morning routines, etc. So how you set up for the rest of the day. I don't have I know some people have their hour of power, etc. I haven't got time to do 1 hour meditation, breathing, etc. So I have, people are going to laugh at this. I wake up in the morning. First thing I say to myself is, good morning, good morning. It's a great day to be alive. Because if you've made it in the morning, you're 1 in a million. It's a scary stat that 1 million people die every day.
Wow.
So if you've woken up, you're 1 in a million. You'll be happy that you're alive. Then I do my fasted cardio for half an hour, 40 minutes. And then I do have like a 10-minute ritual, and I divide that into 3 minutes. So it's actually 9 minutes. The first 3 minutes is gratitude. What am I grateful for? Family, business, being alive, being healthy, where I live. Because we can always complain, but another one of my mentors says, your problems are someone else's dreams. So don't complain ever. Then 3 minutes, I'll concentrate on what I'm planning to do today. What are my 3 big projects? What are my 3 big phone calls? What do I need to achieve during the day? And then I have 3 minutes just breathing, mindfulness, just practice my breathing, but just have thoughts coming to me, what's around, etc. So it only takes 9 minutes, and that's all I do. So good morning, great to be alive, my exercise, and then 9 minutes or 3 minutes of gratitude, 3 minutes of what I want to do today, 3 minutes of breathing, mindfulness, and that sets me up for the rest of the day.
That's fantastic. Harry, how can people connect with you? Where would you direct them if they want to find out more about you?
Yeah, so there's a couple of websites we have. One is Dental Property Club, dentalpropertyclub.co.uk. That's also to do with financial feed and property investing. The other one is botulinumtoxinclub.co.uk. That's the facial aesthetics arm of it. But they can connect with me with Dr. Harry Singh on Instagram, and I think it's Harry Singh 72 on Facebook. So social media handles are fine.
That's brilliant. I want to thank you very much, Harry, for this conversation, for your time, for your wisdom shared with me today.
My pleasure.
Any parting words?
No, I said obviously everyone's at different stages in their life. As you said, the beginning of the journey is never the end. Enjoy the journey. It's not about the end goal, because as a dentist, I was saying, I was going to say work for 30, 40 years, retire, enjoy my life. But I wasn't enjoying the journey. So if you're not enjoying the journey, don't wait for the end destination. It's about the journey. If you do anything before you sign up for any courses, etc., get your mindset, your personal development first, then have a look at strategies after that. And listen to Aggie's podcast.
Thank you very much, Harry. I wish you all the very best. A real pleasure to speak with you today.
Thank you. And can't wait to see you in the real world as soon as possible.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for listening. Please take a moment to subscribe, rate and review Personal Development Mastery on Apple Podcasts. If you want to know more about me and how I can help you, join my Facebook group Personal Development Mastery. The link is in the show notes, or you can simply type bit.ly/PDM group. And until next time, stand out, don't fit in.